Hello, Lanetsu. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, learned silks that are on the line, thank you very much for joining the meeting. We have 15 people online. I've purposed only to give a 5-minute grace period. So I will just crave the indulgence of those of you who have joined early to please allow just 4 minutes more. We will start on the dot of 5 minutes past 3. May I ask that the Compliance Administration and Secretariat kindly get ready to share their screen with the minutes of the meeting so that we can go through them very quickly. We will start on the dot of 3:05 by my watch, please. Thank you very much. I also want to remind us, anyone who is signing on with the device, to kindly change your device's name so that you can be properly captured in the minutes as having attended the meeting. I noticed that from the last minutes, a number of people did say that they attended and they were not, that was not captured. Perhaps it was because their devices were not properly named. So please, let's do that. We have another 3 minutes to go. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. The meeting is called to order. Welcome everybody to the meeting. I see that we have 30 people in attendance. Thank you very much. Without further ado, we will just go straight to the review of the minutes of the first general meeting. I know that there was some confusion. I apologize. I am probably responsible for that confusion. The first meeting was titled the inaugural meeting. And so I started numbering from there onwards, if you look at the meeting schedule. So yes, even though this is the third time that we're meeting as a general committee, this is the second general meeting. So I hope that with that explanation, we won't have any further confusion. So if I could just ask the CAS subcommittee to share their screen with minutes, or if that's not possible, I can share my screen Would you like me to share my screen, or are you able to do that? Is Mrs. Alakija on, or anyone from that subcommittee? I can. Okay, I'll just share my screen. I thought I downloaded it a few minutes ago. I'll just wait for my colleague to share her screen. Apologies, everyone. Just waiting for the minutes to be put on the screen. Is there any challenge? It's not on the screen. It is not. It is not. Touch. I do, and I actually thought I don't know. I put it here. I thought I downloaded it. Yes, we can post one more. Just, just, I think we're finally there. So, if everybody can see and hear me, page 1. I know that everybody's looked at this, so you should be able to do this in very quick. So that's page 1. Page 2. The comments that members had made before have actually been incorporated into this document. So please just check them to make sure that the comments that you raised have been addressed. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. And then the rest are just the annexures. And I want to believe that people have checked their names, and we have the names of people who are present, absent, and people who had apologized for their absence, and the annexures. This is the list of all the members with their various subcommittees. That's the end the minutes. So if there are no further comments subsequent to comments that members had made before, can we have somebody please move for the adoption of these minutes? Mohammed Adama. Good afternoon. Mohammed Adama, can you Mohammed Adama, can you unmute yourself and adopt, please? And then seconded by Salman.
Yes, I move. My name is Mohammed Adama of Abuja branch. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Salman. Alhaji Salman. Alhaji Salman, do you second or do I move to Dr. Latifat Bello? Okay, Dr. Latifat Bello.
Good afternoon, ma. I second the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you very much. So, without further ado, thank you. Haja, can you put your hand down, please, so that, thank you. Thank you very much. If you are not speaking, can you please mute yourself so that we don't have any background noise? Thank you very much. So the conference policy document, which was circulated prior, I would like to let me just see if I can bring that up. That's up there. Just download that right away. I'm sorry? Let's pull this up. Okay. What is this? This is okay. Just go. Maybe. Yeah. I already had it. Let me just try this. Find it. This may make some sense. Okay. I don't know something. So I'll check it. Yes. No, that's not it. Is that the one? No, that's the code of conduct. No, that's hold on. Okay. Can everybody see my screen, please? Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes,
so I
we
know
can.
yes, thank you very much. We had circulated this document earlier on. So rather than move from page 1 to page 8, can I just ask people who have gone through the document, point out where you have an issue, and then I'll just scroll to that point. I can see Omotayo Olatubosu's hand up. You have the floor, please. Omotayo Olatubosu, is your hand up for the purpose of commenting on this document? Okay, I guess not. Is there anyone else who would like to comment on this document? So do I take it that everybody is happy with the document as is, and we can go ahead and forward it to the conference portal developers for uploading onto the conference? Please, if you agree, please kindly indicate by raising your hand. Okay, I have Saman, is your hand up? Okay. Mr.
I just raised it. I just raised it, Madam Chair.
Okay, Saman, please make your contribution, please. Thank you. Make your
Madam Chair,
contribution.
I'm raising my hand to indicate that I'm fine with the document.
Oh, but that you're fine with document. Okay. Mr. Lema, do you have a comment on the document? Okay, I guess not. Madam Ngozi Ehiekwe, do you have a comment, or you want to, or you are fine with the document?
I'm fine with the document. That's my own comment, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Madam Ehiekwe. Anybody who's fine with the document, you can put your hand down, please. If you want to make a comment on it, leave your hand up. So, okay, so, Madam Ngozi Ehiekwe, do you have a comment? Okay, I guess not. And Omotoyo Olatubosun, I think their hands are just up. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We shall be forwarding this policy document to the Compliance Administration and Secretariat for upload onto the conference portal. Thank you very much. The next item on our agenda is the presentation of the proposed sports regulations, which I circulated earlier as well, and some members had commented on. We have in our midst the chair of the sports subcommittee for the AGC 2024 in the person of Mr. Anthony Atata, and he will make his presentation on, take us through the sports regulations, the proposed sports regulations first, and then we'll make our comments so that he can take them away. And then he will make a presentation on the proposed sporting activities for this year's conference. So, Mr. Tony Atata.
Yeah,
Please go ahead.
good afternoon, everyone. I think the screen is still being shared.
Okay, let me do away with that, please. Yep, I've stopped share. You can go ahead and share now.
Oh, please hold on.
You can go ahead and share your screen.
Okay.
Omotayo, could you put your hand down, please, so that we know that when you put it up next. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm trying to. Sorry, I'm trying to put it up.
That's fine. No problem. Sorry, while Mr. Tata is trying to find that, I can see in the comment box, 2 people can't hear. Have you checked your settings? Is this a general problem?
I can hear from my hand, loud and clear.
Okay,
who's here loud and clear?
Okay, so maybe Chair Ijebode and Chair Ogbomosho, maybe we need to consult the powers that be in the Southwest too, because you seem to be the ones that can't hear us. Can you check your settings, please, or something? Maybe it's a network issue. Or do you want to log off and log back in? Can you hear now? Yes, not. Okay. So, Tony, you have the floor whenever you're ready. Mr. Tata, can you take it to the top of the page and then start your presentation, please? Mr. Tata, are you there? Well, maybe. Okay. Let me just check and see if he's still on. Maybe he dropped off. I think maybe he might have dropped off. Okay. I really would have preferred for us to finish with this before we let me try and make a call to him and see what's going on. Please just bear with me.
Hello?
Hello, Tony.
Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry for the mix-up. Can I start now? Hello? Chair.
Please go ahead, Tony. Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Anthony Atata. Following our experiences in the past 6 years since we introduced sporting activities in our annual general conference, and we've had a lot of experiences, and fortunately I've been somehow directly or indirectly I've been part of the sporting activities in the past 6 years. So, and there are a lot of disputes arise, and somehow they've been like a virus in the sporting activity. So this year, what we thought of in the AGC sports subcommittee is to come out with a regulation, that will guide the sporting activities. As at least that was the first task we had to do. So we came out with this regulation, and I want to believe it has been shared. But I want to clarify from the chair. Am I supposed to go through the article section by section?
No, you don't need to go section by section. We've circulated it, and people have read them, and some people have made their comments already. If there are there's any particular parts of the regulations which you feel might invite either controversy or need clarification in your view, right, you can zero in on that. Otherwise, I will invite members who made their comments on the group to share their views again.
Okay.
Is there any parts of the regulations that you would like to highlight or emphasize or clarify?
Okay, yes. Okay, fantastic. Let's look at 3.2. That's Article 3.2 of the regulation on merger of teams. Merger of teams. Now, merging of teams has been there in the past 6 years since we started these sporting activities. However, in some cases, being lawyers, sometimes when there are disputes, some lawyers try to make a big deal out of two teams merging to play as one team at the AGC. So what we have done is we have now decided to make it official through this regulation, so that branches can merge to participate in the AGC. We've also contemplated the likely areas of dispute, and we've attended to them in that section. Okay, so if you look at 3.2, you see what we have done there to ensure that we have some form of a seamless merger when two teams want to participate. Now, another aspect of the regulation I would like to emphasize on is on dispute. Now, this is an area that we have ignored for a very long time. Not that we have ignored it, but what has been happening in the past 4 years is that anytime there is a dispute arising from the matches, not dispute arising from the rules of the matches, but arising from, for example, featuring players who are not registered, featuring players who are not lawyers. So a lot of things go on, and we don't seem to have any defined way of dealing with them. Most times we'll come up with FIFA rules. We say, okay, FIFA rules will guide. But if you look at FIFA rules in relation to the kind of competition we organize, you see that sometimes the FIFA rules may not fit into what we do. So we decided to put in a section there on disputes, on how to deal with disputes when they arise, and different types of disputes. So we've clearly defined it in this regulation. So those are basically the two parts of these sections of this regulation that I would like to emphasize on. But if there are other inputs, we'll be very happy to respond to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tata. Members, I know that a couple of people had comments on the group. Can you kindly, yes, Mr. Dumo Barango, the floor is yours, sir.
All right. Good afternoon, Chairman and members. Let me commend the committee for putting up these regulations first and foremost. Mine has to do with, I saw something like a registration, non-refundable registration
Madam
fee.
Ngozi, please, can you mute yourself? Madam Ngozi, please mute yourself. Thank you. Okay, please carry on.
So I don't know whether it's limits to this. Is it Scrabble there? Is it football or the registration? Does it limits to any particular sport in the view? My question is coming from the fact that, forgive me, it has to do with the immediate past case where a young man walked up to me, Bright Otobo, that said he registered for Scrabble, paid a non-refundable deposit, and up till now, the prices that he won has not been, given to them. So we must be sure that whichever sports we're introducing is something that has funding, so that we can be able to redeem the prizes. I don't know what the committee has taken into consideration.
Mr. Brango, I hope I'm not
Yes,
out
sir.
of order, my chair. This regulation is for football.
Yes.
Okay, just football
yes.
alone.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for.
Because when I said
thank you
sports
for saying-
committee, I was thinking it was sports committee. Thank you.
Yeah, so Mr. Baron,
No problem.
just to quickly say, we're right now dealing specifically with the regulations that the subcommittee wants us to approve in order to avoid the kind of incidents that have besmirred our football activities in the recent past. With regard to payments of prizes to persons who won in last year's conference, that's a totally separate issue and is one that's being handled. We did not get enough sponsorship for the sports. So arrangements are being made to pay those people who have not been paid. Not everybody has not been paid. I have myself spoken with Mr. Bright Otobo, and I can assure that before the next meeting of this committee, I will be able to report that all outstanding prizes have been paid. So, but that's a different issue. So, and definitely
Thank you,
this
Mr. Chair,
committee,
for the
definitely this
clarification.
committee is looking into making sure that whatever sports are introduced, the prices are available beforehand. Thank you very much. Okay, Madam Ngozi,
Thank you,
you have a
Mr.
comment.
Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Baran. Madam Ngozi, you have a comment. Please make it.
Okay, yes. My comment is in respect to red card and yellow card. I saw, if you are given red card, you will pay so amount, and yellow card so amount. I don't know whether it's FIFA specification or an innovation introduced into football. Has it been there, or was it introduced newly? The payment, if you are given red card, all I know is that if you have red card, you are not going to play for the next match. I don't know that they usually pay, some amount. So I need some clarifications there.
Okay, let me quickly attend to that. Yes, it's actually the practice. So when you have default, when you have red card or yellow card, there are some financial implications to that, monetary implications.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Habib, you have the floor. Madam Ngozi, please, can you put your hand down? Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Trying to do that.
Thank you.
Madam Ngozi has. All right.
Madam Ngozi has made the comment you wanted to.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I
asking.
wanted to ask Mr. Tata, because the time for football in particular is quite short, as you would agree. And so, because the plan has been, except the conference planning committee leadership, considering having these games played in another way. The idea before was that these games were going to be played as branches or in zones. Only the finals with UGC itself, just so that.
Yeah. So Habib, well, we can't hear you very well, but yes, your question with respect to the regional proposition. Let me make a clarification on that so that Mr. Tata doesn't have to answer. Yes, the former chair of last year's sports committee did make that recommendation, and it was one that he made because there were over 30 teams that registered for football, and it was a strain on both the players and the organizers to put together those football fixtures all in the space of, I think, about 3-4 days. It was quite hectic. So the chair made that recommendation so that it would put less pressure on the organizers and the players. Unfortunately, what then happened, what we realized after this year's sports committee was constituted, because there were a few members in this year's committee that were in last year's committee. It turns out that, unfortunately, that was not a recommendation that was robustly discussed at their level before it was put to the recommendation. And therefore, this committee was then given the mandate to go and examine modalities and how it will work. What they came back with was that, yes, it may work, but it's likely to be much more expensive. I don't know whose background noise is. Madam Ngozi.
I think it's Madam Ngozi.
Madam Ngozi. Okay. Madam Ngozi, I suspect she's not near her device. Okay. So they took a look at the two models. They actually compared both and found out that even if the original model is going to work, it would have to start very early, like in January. And then it might still be something that we want to look at, because even if we were to do state by state or region by region, it would entail teams from different branches traveling to one location to play matches and, you know, incurring costs and so on and so forth. If we're going to do matches, intra-state matches, so say the branches within, I don't know if anybody has Madam Ngozi's number and can please call her on our behalf, because I suspect that she's not near her device.
Can the host meet her?
I beg your pardon?
The host can meet her.
I'm not the host. Wale is the host, and I don't know if he's on this call. So if somebody can call her, please. Yes. So what had happened is that they said even if we were to have intrastate matches. So, for example, all the branches in one state, it will still take a lot of planning, and even the committee would have to travel here and there. So, practically speaking, it wasn't quite workable. They also found out that the reason why it was tasking on the teams and the officials last year was on account of, Madam Ngozi, please, can you mute yourself?
Yes, I've done that.
No, you haven't.
I have not.
Yes. So we've been hearing all your conversation, all your secrets are now known to us.
Sorry, ma, what is wrong with this thing, man?
Thank you. So for that and other reasons, found out that it was on account of perhaps less than efficient organization. So this year, they've actually come up with a much more efficient plan, which takes care of the problems that brought about the recommendation in the first place. But perhaps for subsequent years, the regional option can be addressed, but we'll have to start a lot earlier. So that's why there's been a revert to the traditional model, and he's going to present the plan for that, the timetable for that, immediately after we finish discussing the regulations. So that's to answer your question, Habib.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Tochoku Amefule, can you make your comment, please? You have the floor.
Thank you very much. My comment is with respect to or regarding financial punishments, or financial punishments to be levied for the cards for infraction during the game. That's the yellow card and the red card. I should think that 10,000 naira for a red card, and then normally red card comes with a match ban, or you are banned from playing at least 2 matches. With 10,000 naira, that's double jeopardy, and it's very steep in my opinion. So if we can reduce the financial implication, or we remove the match ban entirely. If we pay 10,000, he plays the next match. That will make more sense, because it does not make sense to levy 10,000 and the person misses 2 matches. It will definitely cause a step. The 2,000 naira ban for yellow cards, it's also very steep for me, because yellow cards should ordinarily be a warning to be more careful. And then for yellow cards to attract 2,000 naira, the whole team could get yellow cards. We've had matches where 9 players got yellow cards in real club matches between 2 clubs, and then that's 18,000 naira for warning. I think the financial implications or the financial punishment are too steep.
Thank you. Tony, do you want to respond to that, please?
Yes, I can. Let me respond to that. Now, okay. Let me respond. Now,
but I
just like,
I want to talk along that line too. I don't know whether I can talk.
Okay, that's fine. If no problem, Mr. Opako. But I would like you to keep your contribution succinct. And if Tochukwu already said what you'd like to say, then there might not be any need to say it.
No, along that line, I don't know.
Okay,
Probably it will.
No, that's fine. But just as long as we just keep it succinct, please. Carry on.
It's okay, no problem.
Carry on, please. Carry on, please.
Are you talking to me or Mr.
No. I'm talking to Mr. Opako. He says he has something he wants to say along the line so that you answer both together. Mr. Opako, please carry on.
Yes. Madam Chairperson, good afternoon, and to all members of the committee. My contribution is that let's not give the impression that we are just generating money for the conference, because I'm a football enthusiast and I play football myself. I've not seen anywhere you put monetary fines for red card and yellow card. I've not seen, probably.
So, Mr. Papa, let's wait and hear what the chairman of the subcommittee will give us as his rationale for them deciding on this. Yes.
Well, it's all right.
Mr. Tata, please respond. Did you have something else you wanted to say, Mr. Papa, or is that it?
No, because I'm saying that we should disregard the issue of this monetary fines, and match ban is okay for yellow card and red card, but on the issue of this monetary.
And let's hear his rationale, please. Let's hear.
Okay. Thank you very much. I also wish to inform you that this part of the regulation was actually the last part that was included in this regulation. Now, like I said, I answered Madam Ngozi, it is the practice I know that teams pay for these things, pay for their red card or yellow card. Now, in terms of the price, I think the first speaker, Mr. Tochukwu, said something about the cost of the red card. Now, what informed the 2,000 for the yellow card is that if you follow football, you know that most yellow card faults are almost intentional. Now, most yellow card faults are not almost intentional, but the red card faults are almost intentional. So because of that, we had to leave the yellow card at 2,000 and the red card at 10,000. Now, secondly, I do not know how many of us attend these sporting events, because a lot of us take this football event too seriously. Sometimes we come there and you see the way we behave as if we are not lawyers anymore. So these are the things we want to stop. Now, when it comes to punishment for red cards and yellow cards, usually the match ban is for the player involved in the yellow card. But we want to be able to make the teams more responsible. So they won't always sever their responsibility from that of the players. So they'll be able to talk to their players and control their players. If you look at regulation, the target in this regulation is to make teams responsible for a lot of things happening. It will help us a lot.
Okay, Mr. Tata, are you done?
A lot. So that is why we decided to put that. Even last year, we just included it. It's nothing new in our tournaments. I don't know if I've answered this.
Okay, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, are we satisfied with Mr. Tata's explanation for the reason behind including a monetary fine in addition to? Did I hear you say that the red card, for instance, is the monetary fine is in addition to the traditional match ban? The person doesn't get to play in the next match, right?
Yes, that's the practice. But
and then in addition,
to make the teams more responsible.
Responsible. Okay.
Yes.
So that's the rationale behind it.
Actually, this is not new. It has always been part of our tournaments. It's not new.
I see.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Maybe people just don't read the small print. Okay. Thank you very much. So I'm going to share comments that have been made by members on the group so that you can answer them. So the first one was from Dr. Bello made some typographical corrections, and I will forward those to you. Danjuma said, I must commend Madam Chair and the team involved in producing this first of its kind regulation. Well, two things there. I don't have anything to do with it. It's all Mr. Tata and the sports subcommittee. So the congratulations the commendations rather go to them. First of its kind, well, he says it's always been there, but he says it's a huge innovation and I'm full support. However, I think there is a need to stipulate a very harsh sanction on lawyers who participate in these sporting activities and engage/instigate physical conflicts that bring disrepute to our association. Some of us have not forgotten how taxi men were asking us why lawyers they fight now. I suggest the immediate recommendation of lawyers that fight at our sports events to the LPDC. And this received 5 supporters by Mrs. Mulika Thomas, Mr. Kule Ajagbe, Madam Ngozi Hiekwe, and Anulika Sekwe. So, ladies and gentlemen, do we agree to ask Mr. Tata to include Danjuma's suggestion into the regulations that where lawyers instigate slash, just give me a minute, can't find it. Where lawyers instigate or engage in physical conflicts, they should be referred to the LPDC. Okay, Danjuma is here, he can speak for himself. Danjuma, the floor is yours. And Dr. Bello has a hand up. So Danjuma, after you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair.
Represent yourself, and since you are here. Carry on, please.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair.
Good afternoon.
Yes, thank you very much for raising this point. I just felt I should add my voice to it, to the written form that I already placed on the page. The truth of the matter is the embarrassment afforded to us courtesy of the several cases of fracas that took place in the last football competition was very, very embarrassing to the bar. I personally witnessed the president getting angry with the chairman of Abuja branch when he failed to submit a report regarding the findings of those people that were involved in that fracas. It was also in addition to the portable situation, one of the low lights of the conference, and it took away most of the shine of the last AGCPC. So the only threat that lawyers would really take seriously, leaving their various environments, leaving their various, the stress of work that they have already gathered upon themselves, and then making out time to come and play football only for somebody to say, okay, this is not the way it should be, is to threaten them with the risk of having to appear before the legal practitioner disciplinary committee. It will at least afford the players some notice at the back of their mind that by the time they engage in physical conflict or whatever, they will not go scot-free and they will not have tarnished our names just like that. And then the society at large will also see that we are responsible people. So I will really, really be grateful if this motion is supported and inserted in that clause. And then people that are going to participate in the sporting activities where there's physical, there's some physical challenge, will always have it at the back of their mind. If we do this, this is the fallout, or they probably better stay at home if they cannot be sportsmanly about it. So that's just my humble contribution, man. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much indeed. Mr. Tochukwu Amefule, please let's make our contribution succinct. We have a long way to go today.
All right, I actually agree with the submission that the lawyer be reported to LPDC. I would even say that we be more proactive about it, because I know NBA has their investigative whatever department that handles these investigations before they report to the LPDC. If we can have one of them present there so that they can see these things happening immediately, not wait for a letter report, because the issue of lawyers fighting over sports is something that must be condemned. And I think we should even go a step further, apart from putting it in the sports regulation, to have somebody from the NBA investigation team, whatever, to be present at those sports events, so that anything that is happening, he's seeing it immediately. It's not something that we'll have to report later, immediately, and the person will be taken up immediately to the LPDC. We don't have to wait for a report or whatever about it. It's something that we must all.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mr. Barango.
Thank you, Chairman. Now, while I agree that it could be embarrassing for lawyers to bring that kind of shame to, or a show of shame, I will suggest that we do so with caution. Reason being that when you go to the disciplinary committee, it may lead to the lawyer being derobed. That's my point. So I think we should exercise some caution in adding that to the policy. Thank you.
Mr. Barango, just out of curiosity, if a lawyer has engaged in conduct that is unbecoming of a legal practitioner, and on account of that, the legal practitioners disciplinary committee finds that the conduct is serious enough to warrant his being disrobed, is that a bad thing?
The point is, most of these things come out of, I would say, like a recreational thing. That's the point I'm making. Out of recreational points, it's not something that the lawyer probably may have done deliberately, as it were. It probably may have been a result of maybe something that came out of the pitch, for the pitch rather. So for us to take this far, to the point of the lawyer being debarred or something, I find it a bit heavy. That's the point I'm making. I'm not saying that we shouldn't find them, because my child, let me say, we have said pay 10,000 here, we are saying pay 5,000 here, we are saying you'll be debarred. You see, I don't want us to do so many things that will look as if we are being stringent with the policies. Subjects have better view.
At the risk of sounding argumentative, is this not the very kind of discipline that we need in this profession to ensure that lawyers behave like lawyers? I mean, if you run the risk of being disbarred on account of terrible conduct, and we must presume in the LPDC's favor that they will not use such a punishment lightly. But I mean, let me not take away from what members say, but I don't think that the stringency of the punishment.
You can't guarantee that when the heavy weather is drawn against the person, it may lead to that.
No,
that's my
Mr.
point.
Banko,
Anyway.
we cannot presume. We cannot assume that. We have to presume in favor of the LPDC.
It's all right. I would rather say we use a kind of a carrot and stick method. We could threaten, but let's not do something. Thank you.
Your point is well taken. Mrs. El-Rufai. Mr. Barango, please put your hand down. Mrs. El-Rufai, you have the floor, ma'am.
Thank you, Leonard Silk. Colleagues, good afternoon. I am supporting, or, while I understand where the rules are coming from, I also want to align with the last speaker. Sports generally, world over, are events that usually are full of emotions. Lawyers are human beings, and sometimes, we don't know when our emotions get the better of us. I quite agree that we should not allow unruliness and fighting by lawyers during, sports. But LPDC, honestly, I personally think that is, too high-handed. That's my opinion.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Fakunda, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, sir. You have the floor.
I am totally alarmed by the comments of the last two speakers. It is just shocking. Now, whether you are in a football match or you are anywhere, surely they will agree that the basic tenets of our profession is that you carry yourself like a lawyer. It does not matter where you are. Now, I chaired the and this was the same sentiments that got us to where we were in the last conference, the Lagos conference. I chaired the investigation committee where lawyers, because of the emotions of not getting bags in time, invaded the place, beat up people, took some of the bags away, and some were then calling us to say that, no, because of the emotions of the moment, they should not be referred to the Legal Practitioners Advisory Committee. Any lawyer that can go to a stadium to fight, whether you are a footballer or a spectator, any lawyer that can go to a conference venue and disrupt the place is not fit to be a legal practitioner and should be so disciplined. This is the kind of things that we are struggling with today in the legal profession, the absolute lack of discipline. It doesn't matter. Your association organized a football match, you went to fight there, and you want to come back to say you are a lawyer with the public looking at us? Not even now, when the image of the legal profession is struggling. Not even now. And I saw in one of the things that Madam Chair you have said about the code of conduct during proceedings. I don't think whether there is a reference to the Legal Practitioners Advisory Committee there. If there is not, I think we should. We should really try to hold this profession in high esteem. We are struggling. So I absolutely agree with the presentation that lawyers who behave in a manner that is unfit, that makes them unworthy of the wig and the gown they wear, to be referred to the Legal Practitioners Advisory Committee. There can be no basis, no excuse. You should not go and fight. It's as simple as that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Leonard Silk. Mr. Ajagbe.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, and good afternoon, Leonard colleagues. Mr. Olawale Fakunda SAN has spoken my mind. I am completely with him on this. I am quite surprised, to be honest, that we are even debating this. Sportsmen, footballers, when they do anything, and I'm not talking about lawyers now, professional footballers, for instance, when they do anything other than play football on a pitch, they are liable to being disciplined by the Football Association. Many of us watch football. And if that is the fate of footballers, we are not footballers. First and foremost, lawyers who just happen to be playing football for a defined period of time. If we misconduct ourselves, I am, quite honestly, I'm surprised that we are even having this discussion. I'm quite surprised. And I think so that we can focus attention on the substance of why we have a CPC, I beg that we may quickly resolve on this matter and move on to more substantive issues. But for me personally, there should be no debate. If you misconduct yourself, whether on the football pitch, in the conference room, anywhere in the vicinity or under the auspices of the CPC, that individual should be disciplined. There shouldn't be an argument over it. There should be no ambivalence over it. Last year and the preceding year, part of the problems we've had, and I've been involved in a number of CPCs, part of the problem we've had has been the misconduct of lawyers. Much to our shame, much to the shame of the profession. I mean, the lawyers fighting, that is the defining image. Let us tell ourselves the truth. That has been the defining image in the previous conferences of people fighting, beating up this and so on. And in this age of social media, that is what some people will remember. In fact, the public at large, they are waiting for another round of misconduct this year. Can it now be said that we will go into this year and not appear to have learned the lessons of what went wrong in the preceding conferences? Surely not. I absolutely see nothing wrong. And we would, in my view, with all due respect, we would already have started to fail if we gloss over this issue and do not put our foot down that if you are coming for the conference, you must conduct yourself well. That is to show that we have learned the lessons of previous years. I rest my case.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jagbe. I have one last comment on the regulations before I ask us to decide on this issue. Can we extend the date for refund from 21st June to 2nd July? The reason is that I believe we should have more time rather than being constrained and under pressure. Is this comment in relation to the sports regulation? Mr. Tata, I haven't read the regulations. Is there some part of the regulations that refers to a refund?
No. What we have there is a non-refundable entry fee.
Okay, and a non-refundable entry fee.
Yes.
And you've pegged it at 21st of June.
Well, it's not there. We've not, you know, the timelines are not here. The timelines are in another document. I was thinking I'll present that first. That was we included the timelines when we're making the comparison between the regional and traditional distance. So
I see. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. No problem. That's fine. We'll come after. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's decision time now. Do we ask Mr. Tata to include the reference to the LPDC in the regulations? If you agree, please let's see your hand up in the box so we can just take a decision on this quickly. If you think that the LPDC reference to LPDC should be included in the regulations, please put your hand up.
Nothing should be important.
Okay. Just give me a second. Let me just. I just want to see, make sure. Okay, so it looks like we have a consensus on this. We have, which is a very good thing. I'm actually quite proud of the decision that we're taking here because Mr. Ajabe could not have put it any better. Really, this is a defining issue for us. We really must, as a profession, as professionals, try and make sure that we do everything to protect the integrity of this profession. I think we can all agree that we have suffered a lot of you know, in the public eye, we have suffered quite a lot of ignominy, if I can put it like that, or public odium. You know, just for the avoidance of doubt, my hand would be up too. I just don't want to. I'm just doing too many things at the same time. So just so that that's clear, I'm fully with us on this issue. So, Mr. Tata, there you have it. You have the people who. I'm just trying to make sure that we have. I'm trying to open the screen that would. Just give me a minute, please. Okay. Oh, I'm actually wrong. I thought we had more people with their hands up, but it appears not. Okay, let me just do a count then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And I would be the 20th person. Okay, can you put your hands down, please? We have 24. Can you put your hands down, please? Can we have the hands of people who do not want the reference to the LPDC to go into the regulations? Please, can we, and some people haven't put their hands down from the previous time. Okay, so can we have your hands up if you don't want the reference to LPDC to go into the regulations? Please, can we have your hands up? Okay, so we have Madam Ngozi, Mr. Marango, Abigail. Abigail, is your hand up for this second question? Chinolo. Okay. So Chukwu, can you put your hand up or down? We're now voting for, you don't want your hand, you don't want the LPDC reference, right? Okay, so we have 4 people. So I take it that everyone else is abstaining. Thank you for your abstinence because it has enabled us to pass this. So Mr. Tata, you have the approval of those of us that voted overwhelmingly in favor of this. For those of us that abstained, I hope that you can find it somewhere within you to understand the rationale behind this. Because it's really a question of, do we love the profession more than we love individuals? I think that's really the existential question to ask. Because truth be told, if we love the profession more than we love individual lawyers, then we shouldn't have any difficulty allowing for that kind of, if you like, maximum punishment. Because it just means that lawyers will conduct themselves in ways that ensure that we don't get to that point. But we won't belabor it. Mr. Tata, can you move on to the plan for the sports this year so we can move very quickly? Thank you. Abigail, you can put your hand down, please. Thank you. Abigail, please put your hand down. Tony, we have a lot to do. What's happening?
Okay. I'm trying to.
Okay, thank you. Or do you want to just talk us through it? If
Okay. While I'm waiting, okay, yeah, it's
okay. There
now.
you go.
Yes, I guess you have also made an input into the reason why we chose not to do the regional competition in the way that was initially proposed. So I wouldn't want to waste our time trying to go through it. Now we have proposed timelines. We are working with we intend to use the Oniko Stadium. The conference is scheduled to yes, it's slated for 23rd of August to 28th of August. But usually what happens in the competition is that the players arrive a day or two to the conference. So this time around it's going to be 2 days to the conference, just like it was in Lagos 2 years ago. So it's not actually new. Then we are working on the average data we have in the past 3-4 years. In the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Last year we had about 25 teams signing up for male and 5 teams for female. So we are working on that now. So and we have proposed some timelines. So the expression of interest, we intend to open registration on the 10th of June. 10th of June and close it on the 10th of July. No extension to the deadline. Then we also need to do some form of verification and publication of all team lists before the 17th of July. Then the draws will take place on the 20th of July. Substitution of players shall end on the 17th of August. Now, in terms of substitution of players, because of the hurry and the requirement that players who participate in the event must be registered, must be players who registered for the AGC. Usually, we have some form of this. We have these complications, and in order not to disqualify teams who have already registered on that ground, we give them time, to substitute some players that they need to substitute. So the male teams are expected to arrive on the 19th of August. The female team 21st of August. The competition we hold from 20th to
you want to be like that?
The competition we hold from 20th to 26th. So for the football competition, it's going to be for 6 days, from 20th to 26th. to 26th of August. So that is what we have here. Now on the other sporting events, we propose the J. Rando Cultural Center. J. Rando Cultural Center is just beside Sun Center, opposite City Mall, and it's less than 50 meters from the conference venue. Now, I've gone there to look at the facilities. Well, the only facility they have there is swimming. They have swimming facility. We intend to incorporate swimming. But apart from the swimming facility, the place is such a very beautiful place. In fact, it has not been opened to the public. They intend to open it in July. Now, in the facility, there are spaces we can use for the proposed events. Last year, we did table tennis, male and female. We also did table tennis for disabled lawyers with disability. We did chess and Scrabble. We intend to do that. And we've been assured that we'll get the venue. If we get the venue, we intend to run all other sports in that same facility, including swimming, which is new in that facility. And with the other events, we plan that they will hold for just 2 days. The table tennis, the Scrabble, for 2 days. So what we will need for the table tennis is just to hire table tennis boards to bring to the venue and set things up. Then another thing we have added is cycling. The cycling is not going to be very competitive. We intend to integrate it with the usual health walk we do every year. So the time we are doing the health walk, the cycling event will take place, and it will be just for that day, and that's all. So thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Tata. Thank you for your hard work. We have seen the timelines, we've seen all the plans that have been made. Ladies and gentlemen, the only thing really to comment about here, subject of course to anything anyone else has, is the sports subcommittee has proposed the introduction of swimming and cycling, which we did not have last year in previous years. Do we have any views on this? Or on any other aspect of the presentation? I think those are the only two things that are different. Do we have any views on that? The swimming has been brought about by the fact that there's a brand new public swimming facility right across, less like Mr. Tata said, less than 50 meters away, owned by the Lagos State government, newly opened. And swimming is not a sport that we'll find difficult to arrange. And we do know that there are many people who do enjoy swimming, can swim competitively. The cycling also is, like you said, going to be part of the health walk. So, Salman, Alhaji Salman, you have a comment. Please make it succinct.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to commend Mr. Anthony Tata for that. And well, I'm in support of the report, since the facility provides the avenue for us to incorporate this, and it's also going to be an opportunity for us to do something a little bit different. Since we're not going out of our way to do it, I think the recommendation is in line, and I'm in support of that.
Thank you very much. Okay, in the absence of any other comments on the sports proposal, thank you, Mr. Tata, and please convey our regards to the team. And
thank you.
The committee hereby gives its approval for you to put together a budget for CPC consideration to give effect to these. And we will be working closely with the technical and logistics subcommittee as well as the LOC to plan this. So we're looking forward to seeing all the activities surrounding this. Thank you very much. You are free to.
Thank you very much, my chair. And on our own part, we promise to give you a very wonderful sporting event at the AGC. We are ready, and we are working towards it.
We'll hold you to that. Thank you very much.
Sure. No, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much. Yes, you can take your leave. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I hope we can move.
General, I greet you.
Patience is your comments with respect to Mr. Tata. He's left, but I'll convey the message. You have your hand up.
Yes, good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. My question relates to the sporting, comments to the sporting event. I'm just reminding him that wheelchairs should be provided for lawyers with disabilities for the sporting conference. It's not every one of us that uses wheelchair, but when it is the table tennis competition, it is required that everyone must be on the wheelchair, whether you use wheelchair or not. And the kind of wheelchair provided, the sporting wheelchair, it is not just the regular hospital wheelchair that we make use of. So I'm hoping the wheelchair will be provisions for wheelchair will be made available for lawyers with disabilities.
Patience, did you play last year?
Yes, I did.
You even won last year?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you use a wheelchair?
Yes, I had to use. I used the wheelchair belonging to someone.
It's still available. Don't know. There's still the wheelchairs were provided last year. In fact, this year we're even hoping that we can get someone to sponsor them. Yeah, but yes, I can answer that question. Wheelchairs will be provided.
Sporting wheelchairs.
Sporting wheelchairs, yes. Sports wheelchairs, rather, yes. Sports wheelchairs. Okay, thank you very much. So very quickly, we'll go to the reports from the subcommittees. I want to call first on the Compliance, Administration, and Secretariat to tell us, take us through brief overview of their work, especially as it concerns all other committees and what they've done between last meeting and now. I know that committee has been very active, so they're the perfect committee to flag off the reports. So, can I call on Mrs. Laura Lakija or designate to give the report of the Compliance, Administration, and Secretariat Subcommittee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I will make our report very brief. The Compliance, Administration, and Secretariat Subcommittee, we had our first meeting on Friday last week. And at that meeting, what we did was to identify the respective streams of work that the Secretariat needs to deliver. Those streams essentially are compliance, conference reporting, minutes and records, subcommittee liaison, IT, feedback, and then engagement rapporteurs, essentially. Those are the basic streams of work. And what we decided to do, having identified those from our terms of reference, is to group ourselves according to those respective streams of work. At the moment, the Minutes and Records Committee has been the most active. If you haven't heard from us yet, I'm sure that some point this week you will hear from the subcommittee's liaison. We will reach out to every subcommittee to sort of just establish what we reasonably expect the communication and information exchange protocol to be. Our correspondence sub-team is currently working on standard correspondence for all aspects of the conference. So we've identified all of the correspondence we will require this year. And one member of the committee was actually tasked, of the sub-team was actually tasked with the responsibility of just putting together what the standard forms for each category will be. He has returned that to me. I have to apologize on behalf of the members of that sub-team. They've been working at a pace that is more convenient for me, so that has slowed down the team a little bit. But by the time we do our liaison, we will also be able to gather what sort of support the other committees need from us in terms of correspondence, and we'll be able to provide that support after we clear the standard correspondence with the chair and in some occasions with the MBA president. That in summary is what we've done with ourselves in the last week, and you will see us a bit more in the coming week, albeit in the background, reaching out to you before our next general meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laura. And I must commend the dynamism of the Compliance, Administration, and Secretariat, because I have been privy to the activity that's been going on, and it's been nothing short of impressive. So thank you very much for that. I would just like to say, please, that can the committee make the consideration of potential virtual conference platforms a priority, please, given that we would like to make our virtual conferencing very robust this year, to make it attractive to people who have no choice but to attend virtually. And choosing the right conference platform early enough will be integral to that ideal. Also, it would be nice if we can get more value for our money by making sure that people really know how to engage with the online platform. Take a platform like Wova, for example. It would be nice if we have the media and publicity subcommittee pushing out information about how to really make the most of the Wova platform, even before the conference, well before the conference, so that even people who are attending the conference and are signed on to Wova know all the things that it can offer and how they can use it. So please, if the committee could make a priority of interrogating these issues and trying to narrow down on which company we use for our virtual platform, and so we can also start putting together the money to pay for it. That would be very helpful. Well, thank you very much to that team for all the work that you've been doing. Thank you. Okay, I will go straight away to the media and publicity subcommittee. I see that Habib is online. Habib is the chair of that subcommittee. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Leonard Stokes. Good afternoon, everyone. We, as a committee, we had subcommittee. We had our first meeting yesterday, and we were privileged to have the chairperson attend that meeting with us. We had very robust engagements, and thankfully, we have a TOR that guides our activities. And on the basis of that, we have come up with a media strategy to sell and, of course, to advertise and to publicize the conference. We believe that the conference is beyond just attracting our members' participation. We also believe that it's an avenue to brand the Nigerian Bar Association and make us what we call ourselves, and of course, make our conference what we refer to it as the biggest gathering of professionals, of legal professionals anywhere in the world. And it's deserving of all of that accolades and deserving of all of that attraction and, of course, enthusiasm by both members and non-members. So please, if I have your permission, I would like to call on the alternate chairman of this subcommittee, who also happens to be the National Assistant Publicity Secretary of Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Charles Ajiboye, to please take the committee through the specifics of our plans. Thank you. Charles Ajiboye.
Thank you very much, Habib. Good afternoon, everybody. Mrs. B, can you confirm that I'm audible?
Good afternoon. You are very audible. Thank you very much.
All right. Is my screen also visible?
Very much so.
Okay, so I'll just run through this, and I'll just like to say that this is a preliminary presentation, but it's supposed to give us some form of direction. And so I'll just run through it, and immediately after, we'll take some comments, we'll take questions. But this is what we hope to do in the media and publicity subcommittee. The 4 items listed here are the objectives that we are working with. These are the things we hope to achieve. Like the public secretary had said, we intend to give this conference the kind of publicity that shows that
He's not the publicity secretary here. He's the chairman of the media and publicity subcommittee.
Like the chairman of the media and publicity subcommittee has said, we intend to focus on giving the conference the kind of image that it deserves I would not dwell much on that. And we hope to drive attendance of lawyers and, of course, non-lawyers. We talked about the fact that we hope to see more non-lawyers attend this year's AGC than before. It's typically usually like about a 90-10 or 95-5 situation. And it's also good for us to have non-lawyers take advantage of this conference for the purpose of networking and collaborations that it will give. So it's one of the objectives, positioning the conference to attract partnerships and sponsorships. We believe also that if we sufficiently and effectively present the conference to the world, we will have very little problems in attracting the kind of sponsorships and partnerships that we require to actually make the conference worth the while. And then promoting key sections and highlighting the importance of legal issues discussed. Of course, naturally, if we have very, very robust conversations during the conference, then it's only worthwhile for us to ensure that this goes beyond the room. The target audience, legal practitioners, policymakers, general public. We try to streamline channels that we're going to use to achieve these purposes. And then for traditional media, television particularly, we're looking at, of course, subject to approvals and our finances, the NTA channels, television, AIT, CNN, CNBC. For radio, we're looking at 4 radio stations, and these radio stations basically are Lagos-based because we don't have many stations that broadcast across the country, but we expect that the host city should actually be very, very aware of what is happening around it. So we're going to do a lot of sensitization on radio. We've streamlined 4 radio stations: Law FM, Classic FM, Radio Lagos, and Beat FM. For Law FM, we are open to open conversations with them so that we probably will have a lot more engagement there. Number one, it is a station that has lawyers in focus, owned by a lawyer as well. And so we would leverage on that particular radio station a lot to also promote the agenda of the conference. Newspapers will streamline to 3-4. We'll talk to them based on print, but more importantly, on their online platforms. This Day, Punch, Guardian, and Business Day. Then for digital media, we're looking at having, of course, our social media accounts are already quite active. We intend to make them very much more active. We'll still adopt and use the conference official Instagram account, which already exists. Then we pen down these 3 other platforms, which we noticed that easily get news outside. That's the Tunde Ednot page, the Olori Supergirl page, and the Linda Ikeji platforms. Influencers, we're considering largely lawyers who are actually quite popular in the general space. Lai Wasabi is a young lawyer who is not being called to the bar. Timi Agbaja is a lawyer who has been called to the bar. It was one of the co-anchors of the last Unbad. Jafet Omojua, Chude Gideon Wolf, Funke Akindele, Fowles the musicians, Richard Mufedamiju. We have 2 other names that we are hoping to also reach out to, Kanayo, and there's this other comedian, I've forgotten the name at this time. So we're looking at them, and we are going to be looking at how we are going to be able to partner with these people in such a way that it's going to also save costs, so that we don't intend to also have them completely for free, but more importantly is that we want to be able to leverage on relationship whilst working with them. So we have also streamlined blogs that we intend to use, the law blogs. We've streamlined to 5 law blogs. We want a more coordinated approach. Typically, you find out that blogs will take news that is relevant to them, but we want a situation whereby we have certain blogs that we can hold responsible for the PR of the event. So this is not about journalism now, this is about PR. So the blogs that we intend to talk to as regards PR are these 5 blogs: Newswire, Legal Nigeria, Loyal Nigeria, and Law House. This is primarily for this time. Now, for the media calendar, this will be more detailed, but that will be more of an internal document for the Media and Publicity Subcommittee. The media calendar is going to be such that we are going to have a calendar for each day, which will start from the 1st of June. But this is a summary of what is supposed to carry, for the entire period. So we hope to structure daily releases. Something has to come out every day somewhere from the Media and Publicity Subcommittee. So we're going to structure what kind of things will be coming out, and we'll have the calendar internally. So there'll be daily posts structured from the 1st of June, formal unveiling of the conference hashtag, which we intend to start driving on all our publications going forward, so that the hashtag can gather a lot of use between now and the conference. Formal announcement of social media accounts dedicated to the conference, issues of press releases announcing keynote speakers, session topics, special events, reach out to media partners to secure coverage and interviews. Now that will also require, this part of it, which requires reaching out to media partners, is that as much as possible, we do not want the entire conference to rest and sit squarely on WhatsApp. So it has to be a conference that everybody in the country and outside of this country knows that lawyers are having conference, and they're going to be discussing very important issues, and that is going to be worthwhile for everybody, both sponsors and participants. So we are going to be having regular interviews at different points in time. Hopefully we'll try to arrange interviews for the chair, the alternate chairs. It could be a subcommittee chair, but either ways, we want the conversation around the conference on specific issues per time to go out. For July, of course, we want to start something we call the NBA AGC weekly videos. So we have NBA AGC weekly. So it's like a short video that we have to do, and then we just talk about new things that are coming up. We'll also have the weekly newsletters. We started that last year already. We intend to work on that as well too. And that's why we put that in July, hoping that between now and July, would have also gathered a lot of traction, and a lot of activities will be available for us to drive content. For this, we hope that subcommittees will do their best to carry the Media and Publicity Subcommittee along. What I noticed in the last year's conference was that we literally had to be picking information from here and there. And I understand that sometimes the committees do not even know that the things that they have done are news, but we have to all have this understanding that there's no point in winking in the dark. Nobody's saying it. So as much as possible, when there's something done in your committee, for the purposes of FYI, just try as much as possible, either put on the group or just tag any member of the Media and Publicity Subcommittee. Things like that are easy to, we're more conscious about it to be able to make news out of it. For example, we've just talked about this sporting thing and all of those things. And immediately this document is tidy, we would expect that the sports subcommittee is forwarding and saying, hey, media and publicity, let people know about these things, because this information, they're not actually meant for members of this committee. They are meant for the thousands of members of the association who will be attending the conference, and those that are not even in the MBA. So we also intend to publish articles and blog posts on conference themes and speakers, share teaser videos and graphics on social media platforms, conduct and arrange interviews with conference organizers and keynote speakers for media outlets. Now, for these are the essence of those influencers that we had listed before. For those that understand how influencers work, they already have large followership and they are culture shapers, whether we like it or not. So we want to also use them as loudspeakers for some of the things that we'll be doing. And so from time to time, we'll be engaging them in this wise. So we intend to, by August, launch social media campaigns with countdowns, daily updates, coordinate with media partners to schedule feature stories and interviews. It's at this time we hope that we'll now start ensuring that our stories are showing up at least once a week in the traditional newspapers, online, offline, both their online and offline versions. And hopefully around this time, we should be looking at having 1, 2, 3, 4 full-page editorials in regular newspapers. Like we had said in the beginning, when I was mentioning the TV stations, we hope that this time around we should be able to also have jingles that will run on TV. We hope that we'll be able to talk about having things like the live coverage of the opening ceremony, even if we don't have a dedicated TV station like we have done in the past, but at least the live coverage of the opening ceremony. We should have jingles that run on primetime news hour, on major television stations. So during the conference, this is a first of its kind. We're looking at having an AGC virtual studio. Now, how will this work? So for those of us that are used to, that's the only example that comes to my mind very easily now. For those of us that are used to watching soccer, you realize that there's always this studio that is analyzing the match, but that studio is not necessarily, so they are showing the match, they are showing the studio. That studio is not visible to those in the stadium. Those in the stadium are listening to the commentator right on the stadium, in the stadium arena. But there's this studio also that they are switching from. That studio is the one that services the people that are watching on TV. So usually the TV station has that kind of studio and they're able to switch. So when there's a break, when there's an interlude or something, there's a media team that is switching between the field, the player, there's a replay between the board where they're trying to verify. So there'll be a studio, and then there has to be people that will man that studio all through that period, trying to engage the conference, moving from one hall to the other. And that has to be with a lot of synergy with the media team. I really hope that we're able to achieve this, because it's going to engage the online audience. And indeed, the online audience are usually very, very many as well. We've always had thousands of people. So it's time that we start even thinking about it. And then even for those that are in finance and adverts, you can start also thinking about a different advert rate for the virtual studio, because there will be an opportunity to now advertise to people that are online, which you may not be able to do to people that are in person, because in person, you may not be able to show a lot of advertorials on the LED screen, but you can drop in a lot of adverts on screen for those that are watching virtually. It can be a slide banner, it can be whatever, but it may be also a slot for sponsors or for adverts. But I hope those that get that. Then we're looking at this. This is another first of its kind. I'll do a bit of explanation on this. I hope I'm still audible. It's all quiet in here. Hello? Hello?
Yes, Charles, you can.
We are with you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay.
It was
Thank you
beginning
very
to
much.
my own. Okay, so for the opening of the AGC Media Hub, now let's imagine that we are having some kind of a walkway. So typically our conference venues are scattered. You know, you have one marquee here, one marquee here, one all there, or A or B or D or C. And you realize that most of the pictures that emanate from the conference emanate from people snapping on the walkway of different auditorium. What we are thinking about is if we could have a small room, a marquee, but some size of a size, it has to be sizable, some place that can contain up to like 200 people at the same time standing, you know, and then it's all branded, designed for photographs, good lighting, photographers could be there. And then that's, you know, for those of us that are familiar with the 360-degree camera, where you stand in the middle, something runs around you, gives you a 360 picture, it goes to your phone. We could also have the photo booth, this magazine photo booths that are being used now. I probably will share some pictures on the platform so that you understand what I mean by magazine photo booths, for those that do not know, and the 360 photo booth. So that place actually is it can be called, call it the experience center, call it the fantasy room, call it the media hub. But the idea is you want to get your best pictures of the conference, you come there. So it's set up as a studio. Now, apart from that, it's also going to give us opportunity for celebrity interviews. Hopefully we can get some celebrities that can come around who are lawyers, who can come there, chat, and we create some kind of stuff around there where there is just some kind of experiential, what do I call it? A center for that kind of experience anyway. That's what this media hub is supposed to be. And then we can also have interviews there. So the location has to be strategic so that people can easily have access to it from virtually everywhere in the conference. Let me say conference village now. so people can access it easily, especially speakers coming out of that place. They want to come there also, take pictures, and then come beside it. And if possible, the studio we're talking about can be somewhere around that media hub. So everything there, it's about having an experience. You have hashtags there. It will have all the, permit this choice of word, it will have all the Gen Z vibes, so that's where you just want to be. And then somewhere around it, maybe some light music playing, not something noisy because of the interviews that will be going on. I've talked about the live coverage of the opening ceremony, live coverage of keynote speeches, panel sections, panel discussions, breakout sessions on social media platform. That would be AGC Live. So at periodical time, at intervals, would have to go live on maybe Instagram or YouTube. We have to be very deliberate about it. And then that may not be on TV. The traditional one, I think we may not be able to blow too much money, so maybe just for the opening ceremony. But some of the sessions we may want to go live to the public for that purpose. Conduct live interviews with speakers, attendees, and organizers for media outlets. I've talked about that. That's supposed to be at the media hub. Then monitor media channels for engagement and feedback response promptly. Last year, this was a whole lot of work for me. And I remember it was at the last minute that we had to be looking for how to manage the Woover platform, because we realized that the platform was set up, it was functional, but there was just one individual that was supposed to handle it, and people were asking questions. We tried to come up with FAQ at some point, and then there were a lot of engagements that nobody could respond to. So we hope that this time around we'll be able to have a dedicated team to the Woover platform, so that people can also respond to that. And of course, members, both those that were in person, because in-person attendees also had opportunity to relate and to use the Woover app. So the implication was that some people were present both in person and virtually at the same time, and they were asking questions on the Woover app. So we need to engage that platform more effectively this time around. That's the idea of this. Share highlights, key takeaways, post-conference, hopefully spilling from the conference. This may not reach up to September, but as much as we can do, we'll set the motion in play to publish post-conference articles, summaries, reports on conference outcomes. What you call highlight videos is also part of it. Share testimonials and feedback from attendees on social media, follow up with media partners for post-conference coverage analysis, analyze media metrics to evaluate the success of the media strategy. We're trying to hazard an estimate so that we'll have an idea of what all of this is also going to mean to the committee in Naira and Kobo. I know that there's not yet any call for budgeting, but even when you are planning, it's good for you to be thinking the Naira and Kobo alongside of it, so that as you are planning, you can be cutting down. So we're already doing that. Not all of these are already invoiced items. So the implication is that some will go up, some will go lower, but it gives us an idea of the implication of our plans. So we're looking at, we'll have somebody that will be, two people that will be working on designing social media posts, banners, newsletters, and all those things that will be coming up in the video. The videos I talked about earlier, the interview highlights, we're looking at 10 videos. We're trying to put them into numbers so that they can now be quantifiable and then measured. Sponsored ads on social media platforms, and then collaborations, voiceover professional and studio session for those recording, influencers. We think that this is a very low figure, but we're seeing how we can work with something as low as this and see one or two people that we can talk to on a relationship basis and see whether we can get something done. We may have to have 2 major videos that introduces the conference itself, the venue, Lagos, talk about a lot of things. That's what this is about. Television proposal under review. Like we have mentioned the TV stations. We don't know if this will cover this all because of the live coverage, for example. This is usually very expensive. And then we also want them to cover some specific highlights of the conference, day 1, day 2, day 3, live interviews that they can use in the course of their news before the conference. Jingles, of course, that will depend on how many times we want to have them, how long they are going to be, and at what spot they are going to be played. News. So we just put some figure here that are quite low. These figures are quite low, but the idea is to ensure that we push ourselves as low as possible so that we don't have to break the bank on media and publicity. So that also goes for radio, to avoid repeating myself. That also goes for newspaper. And then we're looking at 5 bloggers, that all goes for them. And then this is for that orb. We put this here. I think eventually it may be something that the logistics committee will absorb and see whether they can deliver. But again, we try to hustle a figure around it as well. So let's say this probably is going to be the list that this will cost us. It may be a little lesser, it may be more. I've spoken about this before, and that's on this note I'll be rounding off that there needs to be a lot of synergy. We had a lot of problems. Myself and the public secretary last year was some kind of a mad war because we got to realize late who were the vendors that were chosen to be photographers, to be videographers, to handle the screen. Initially, we thought it was just one person that was contracted for all. Then we realized that there were more than one. And then we had to synergize them together. We had to get photos from this person. And then this person is not handling this screen. Is this person that's handling that marquee? It was a whole mess. So it affected transmission on over at some point. It affected coordination. And there was a lot of last minute working around that we had to do. I would suggest that the synergy is very, very well coordinated, and then a very effective vendors meeting between everybody that is handling anything media and the media and publicity subcommittee before that time. Photographers, videographers, screen controllers, microphone people, mover monitors, all those things that has to do with with media. It's good for us to for them to interface with the committee sufficiently. Then, of course, we are going to have our media police. We want to be sure that all of these things that we are saying, as sweetly as they sound, we can monitor them and say that we did them, they happened, and this was the effect that they had. And finally, is that we are also looking at, because we will definitely need to incorporate more people to be able to achieve all of these things that we have spoken about, is the fact that we want to see how we can also empower and encourage local talents and stop looking for people when they have turned to celebrities. So at some point, this was an idea that I must mention that the Mrs. B, the chairperson, hinted, and the committee easily grabbed. At some point in the course of our work, we are going to try and call out through some kind of an auditioning to see who are lawyers, who are practicing lawyers, who have this kind of talents that we can use here and there, and then we'll see how to encourage them and then support them. That will be the report of the media and publicity subcommittee. Pardon that I've taken some of your time, and I'm happy to receive your questions, suggestions, and comments.
Thank you very much, Sir Charles. Very comprehensive, very detailed. Total figure, very scary, particularly for the fact that you say it could go up or perhaps down, but thank you very much. I saw Laura's hand up. Laura, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just 2 quick things. First, Charles, we would appreciate if you can share that document with us. That's the Compliance Admin and Secretariat Committee. And also, if you could kindly distill for us the sorts of milestones you have for achieving all the many projects that you've outlined, because part of our job will be to just follow up and see that things are being delivered according to timeline. So for this week, what you've accomplished, and for subsequent weeks, what you hope to accomplish, we would really appreciate that. And then just to request for the respective subcommittees, if you have a secretary or a liaison person, please let us know so that we can reach out to them specifically for data that we require from your respective committees. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Any other comments from anyone? Okay, Adesola Boknotaiwo, the floor is yours. Adesola, you have the floor. Adesola, have we lost her? Okay, while she's still getting herself together, any comments? Questions?
Sorry, I didn't realize I should have asked if I was audible. My apologies. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
I was saying that just to emphasize on the bit about
the people that are going to be brought on board, you know, for publicity. I mean, there has to be a balance, you know, just to analyze and check, you know, if those people are actually have the clout we think they do, or if they are actually seeking to ride on the image of the NBA. So it's just to, you know, make that point that we should be circumspect in, you know, determining the people we're bringing on board. Those people that need to pay a premium for riding on the back of the NBA, if we feel the need to, then, you know, we should go out and use that as an opportunity for raising funds. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I guess for most people, it's a lot to take in at once. In addition to the media and publicity subcommittee sharing their ideas with the compliance administration and secretariat subcommittee, perhaps they'll put it on the general platform so that if anybody has any additional comments. Subject to that, I would like to say thank you very much for that detailed plan. And let's begin to give effect to that. Let's begin to put some flesh to that so that we can get actual figures and we can start running. The media publicity rather must be robust, very robust. We talked about this at our inaugural meeting at the M&P subcommittee meeting, and happily we're all on the same page. I have every confidence that we're going to see a very robust, engaging publicity. I like the ideas that are coming out of that subcommittee. Thank you very much. Just one small point I wanted to mention in your list of traditional newspapers. I noticed that there isn't any one that is predominant in the north. Daily Trust and I can't remember the second one for the life of me now. There are two newspapers that are very popular up north. I don't know if someone can help me with the second one. There's Daily Trust and there's another one. Oh.
Leadership.
Leadership. Thank you very much. Leadership. So I don't know which of those two is more widely circulated, but I think we should add one or the other to that list. That's the only comment that I have. Otherwise, please carry on with giving effect to your plan. Please put it on the group so that if anybody wants to add to it, they can. And then let's begin to see. And you did say at some point that even though you haven't been asked for a budget, actually, I think that in the various meetings, I have mentioned to every subcommittee that the next stage now is we need to, the Finance and Fundraising Committee needs to have our budgets because we need to have a budget that we're working towards and a costing for this conference. So yes, every subcommittee is required to put together its budget, which we'll discuss at a subsequent meeting. So yes, please begin to give effect to that. Also, just because it came up, in addition to what Laura said, because we want to make sure that we keep proper records and have proper documentation for institutional memory, every subcommittee I know has a secretary, and every subcommittee has meetings that are minuted. So please submit the minutes of your meetings to the Compliance Administration and Secretariat Subcommittee. They will be reaching out to you for who the secretary is so that they can prompt you as well if you don't do that. But please ensure that your meetings are recorded and documented, and please submit that to the task committee. Thank you very much, M&P. They've taken quite a bit of time. Finance and fundraising. I know that the Leonard Silk had sent his apologies earlier on that he would be at another, he had a clash. And so the alternate chair of that subcommittee, Mr. Shola Dosmu, is going to take the presentation. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. So you mentioned Mr. Sylvia Ogwemo is unfortunately absent. I did have a question for media and publicity. I wanted to take the advantage of my own time just to ask, so I'll start with that. Very robust presentation. Well done, Charles. I just wanted to add, just in case you were not yet aware, I didn't hear of that during your presentation. There's been this controversy about managing communication around no conference bags. I'm sure this has been taken care of. I'm sure, I know Madam Chair has said communication is being drafted towards this regard. But you guys have to ensure that this is clearly articulated all through your very robust media plan, how we are going to manage this communication or this issue about not having conference bags at this year's conference. And I say this because, of course, we already know that a few bars or branches rather already are having issues with this. So we have to manage this properly. I'm really already in my mind, I can see one of the influencers, Lai already doing a skit, carrying his old tattered bag around, talking about us not having conference bags for the conference. So we are going to be quite innovative, and I trust you guys will do a good job there. Well done. So your committee and our committee, F&F, are kind of tied around the waist together. In fact, in our terms of reference, it has been said that we should work together to ensure that we attract robust sponsorship. And I'm very happy that you made allusion to that during your presentation. I've seen your draft budget. So when your committee is able to come up with a tentative first, can you please share with us so that would help in our deliberation? And this goes to all the other committees as well. We would need all your budgets so that we can work with that as well. So we have been set up. We had our very first meeting on Saturday. It's a 26 member committee. And like I said, terms of reference have been set out to us. We plan to meet weekly. Our next meeting will be on Friday. And we have set ourselves up into subcommittees as well at the F&F level. Then what we have done and what we are trying to do with the committee, first and foremost, we are not going to reinvent the wheel. We're going to rely a lot on all the efforts and all the things we've done in the past and try to improve on them by using the various members that we have, both old and new. So the first thing first was we have been given a stretch budget this year to raise 5 billion naira. This has been given all of us on the committee a bit of sleepless nights, but touch on wood, we have made that commitment to try to raise as much as possible and try to meet this stretch target of 5 billion naira for this year's conference. We have pretty much just under 3 months to do this. And at this point, I would say, although we're a 26-man committee, but suffice to add that each and every one of us on the planning committee, respective of your committees, are adjunct members of the fundraising committee, because you'll be helping us spread the word in your various spheres of influence, in your offices, your organizations, and all other gamuts of life where you work. You'll be helping us spread this gospel of trying to raise funds. We shall reach out to you guys in due course. So what have we really done in the past 3-4 days since we started? We have come up with what we call a bespoke sponsorship letter. We've done 2 already, one skewed that will be sent out to all law firms, the other that we would send to corporate organizations, and then one that we can send to the people referred to as our special or premium sponsors. So we're looking here at state governors, attorneys general, the Senate president, quite high net worth individuals, and other categories that fall within that sphere of influence. We would have bespoke letters that go out to each of those sets of prospective sponsors. We are going to finalize that bespoke letter today, but the other draft letters are already ready. We also have what we call packages, sponsorship packages ready, and we are already chewing that up at the committee, but we are not going to send that out now. Our target is to ensure that we finalize that and that the very first set of letters, hopefully, can start going out this Friday after our meeting. We're giving ourselves Friday deadline. We want to be absolutely sure that the figures we've put out there as prospective sponsorship amounts are such that are realistic enough and don't turn off any of our prospective sponsors, but taking into consideration this very large stretch budget that we have, also take into consideration the economic situation in the country. So that would, like I said, it's been chewed up by the committee as we speak, and hopefully by Friday we would have agreed each sponsorship package amount, and then we'll be able to start sending out letters to organizations, to law firms, and like I said, to our special prospective sponsors, governors, attorneys general, etc. Then, that's just a second, I'm going through my notes. Yes. Just 1 minute, I do apologize. Yes, then we had a very, very pleasant telecon with the president of the NBA, Madam Chair, Mr. Gwemasian, and myself. I believe this was on Monday. And it was a fantastic meeting because the president of the NBA has committed himself to even assist the FNF committee this year to, if possible, sit in meetings with us with these prospective sponsors. I'm sure it has been done in the past, but this is something that we gladly welcomed and we took on board, and we are going to task the NBA president and take him up with his commitment. So I would be saying that for prospective sponsors, anyone that we think we would need that level of the top echelon of the NBA to be in attendance to help us broach and make easy, this face-to-face meetings, just to attract the kind of monies we are looking at, will be very helpful. And for you all to know that the NBA president himself has personally said that he would assist us. In fact, he said, give me 3-4 days where I can spend in Lagos, for example, where we'll go door to door with you guys to try to talk to the sponsors to get our money. So with this kind of support from the top, the committee is very, very happy, and we are very, very optimistic of our chances of trying to meet the budget for this year. So this is all I would say for now. This is just 3-4 days of deliberation. At our next meeting, hopefully we'll be able to share more information of what we've done. Hopefully, maybe 1 or 2 funds would have been pledged, or touch on wood, maybe even 1 or 2 funds would have come into our accounts to start it up. Thank you very much. So back to you, Madam Chair. So, Madam Chair, you're still on mute.
Have we lost Mr. Dosmin?
No, Madam Chair, I'm done. I hope everyone heard what I said. I really hope.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Does anybody have thank you very much, Mr. Dosmin. Any comments from anyone? Any comments from anyone? Okay, in the absence of that, thank you so much. We are very comforted by the fact that you are not unduly fazed by the huge amounts that we've set for ourselves. And indeed, I'm happy to reiterate also that we are all adjunct members of that Finance and Fundraising Committee, and we will all take that responsibility very seriously. So I think at this point, we have to do the technical and logistics presentation. I'll be very brief about that. Just give me a second, please. Yes. We had our first meeting last week, Friday. We discussed our terms of reference. We reminded ourselves that the Technical and Logistics Subcommittee is the engine room of the conference planning, and it's a responsibility that we intend to take very seriously. Further to that, we had a meeting with the management of the Tafawa Balewa Square on Monday. The meeting was a very useful one. We did a walkthrough of the venue as well, found out all the areas that we earmarked in conjunction with our event planner, earmarked for various activities to take place. There are 2 halls that can be used for registration purposes. There's a beautiful hall that can be used for the Friendship Center, which actually has its own entrance, which makes things a lot easier. It's very well laid out. We have an area also for the Mami Market to be, all within the same complex, but not too close to one another. It's also very well connected, as Mr. Tata said, to the new facility that is being opened barely 50 meters away, which has the swimming and also rooms for the other sports to take place in. There are 2 facilities which we have asked the event planner to look at across the road from TPS where we can include a creche, because we take the view in the subcommittee that whilst a creche is a good to have, it should not be within the conference complex for health and safety reasons because of the vulnerability of toddlers and young children should anything go wrong. Oftentimes, when we make these plans, we don't think about things that can go wrong, but we like to plan for eventualities. So we'll have a feedback on that, but I believe that there are sufficient facilities in and around the TBS environment where we can situate a creche. Once that is done, we'll be able to figure out what cost it will be to members. Another very nice thing that we found out was that we will not need to construct a marquee for a mosque because the TBS complex itself has a built-up mosque, which was really quite a relief. The TBS management are very excited at the thought of hosting the MBA. They say they have never had a professional organization like ours have an event in their facility. And the new management is very keen to attract our type of clients. So they're very happy and they're very much in partnership with us. In fact, they say because of the TSA, that when we make payment, the payments will go directly to their contractors so that they can do whatever facelifts and renovations are needed. And so they'll be negotiating with the contractors and having us pay directly because they say once the money enters the TSA, to get it out might be a problem. And they want to make sure that everything is done very well for us. The extent of their partnership was even revealed when they said that in between where the Friendship Center is going to be and the halls where the registration will take place, there's a wall. And they have even offered to open up part of the wall and build a gate in there so that we can have easy access between the two. That is really, and not only that, they say they're very happy with the Friendship Center closing at 3 a.m. every day. So we're very excited at the kind of support that we're getting from them and the kind of cooperation. They also have adequate toileting facilities. They have about 25 general toilets on each side of the TBS, and then they have VIP toilets as well. We may need to bring in additional, but that remains to be seen. The main arena of the Friendship Center, we were shown a diagram by the event planner, which they had put together, which shows how they plan to lay out everywhere. The whole arena, for those who know TBS, can accommodate all those marquees quite comfortably. Right now, what they've set up for are 8 breakout sessions, including the lunch tents, but that is because each of those breakout tents accommodates 1,000 people, which we know that we won't have for all sessions. So they are going to reduce some of the sizes of some of the tents to accommodate 500 per, so that we can get our 10 because the content and speaker engagement committee is working towards 10 simultaneous sessions. So altogether in the conference, we're going to have 30 breakout sessions, 10 on Monday afternoon, 10 on Tuesday morning, and 10 on Tuesday afternoon. We have identified a number of places in and around TBS where we can use as car parking. The event planners are also making inquiries of people that own public car parks so that we can find out what it will cost us to take over those car parks. They're also looking at one of the concession car parks on the marina, which is not too far away, but it's not quite walking distance. So the idea is that if we're able to get one of the car parks and take it over for the duration of the conference, then we will have buses which we hope to get from the Lagos State government to do shuttles from the car parks there so that we don't have issues of parking and issues of congestion. At least we limit it to some extent. So those are things that we also looked at. We talked about when we want to take over the place, when we need to set up the marquees for. We talked about registration. Now, one of the ideas that came up during our meeting yesterday, when we were reviewing the meeting that we had at TBS, was that in order to bring less congestion to the registration area, perhaps we could have an arrangement whereby we would have registration for the Lagos branches done 2 days before registration actually starts at a location like law school, which is a free location. We can get law school for free. And if it saves us the trouble of, 2 large branches, Lagos and Ikeja, and then the other Lagos branch, they can come on Wednesday and Thursday, for instance, and collect their conference badges on those 2 days. And then the rest, everybody else comes from Friday to TBS, then that will significantly reduce any congestions, things like that. This is an idea that we threw up. Somebody also mentioned that we need to ensure that the communication around that is robust, lest people feel that the Lagos branches are being given some sort of preferential treatment. It's not a preferential treatment solution at all. It's just a pragmatic solution to help keep congestion down at the venue. And since we can get law school for free and we can give out the conference badges there, we thought, why not? The TBS management has assured us that all lights and fixtures will be done before the conference, everything that we need. Like I said, they have offered their maximum cooperation. In the subcommittee, we have divided ourselves into the mini committees that we had last year. We have subcommittees to deal with the exhibition. We have the security and safety subcommittee, which will work in conjunction with the LOC and also the entertainment and events. We have the venue logistics subcommittee. We have the food committee. We have hotel and medical welfare committee. And we have our secretariat. So we will pass on our secretariat details to the compliance administration and secretariat subcommittee so that we can forward our minutes to them as we're done. We already have one set of minutes. Yesterday's meeting, we've had 2 meetings between last general meeting and now, and we have minutes for both of them. Other than that, suffice to say that right now our next week is going to be taken up by contacting our various vendors and getting actual costs, because this is one committee where we cannot afford to use indicative costs. So the budget we'll be presenting when it's ready will be a budget of actual costs. So we're reaching out to all the vendors in all the areas that we have to engage with vendors for, and that is practically in everything. So security providers, caterers and drinks providers, the marquee providers, the tent providers, the furniture, the cleaning companies, and so on and so forth. We're reaching out to all of them. We already have a budget framework put together by the event planner, which we're now going to spend the next few days populating. And pretty much that is where we are. Thankfully, at least half of the committee, the technical and logistics committee, is an old hand from last year, and therefore we are very comfortable with the things that we need to do. We'll just be relying on the finance and fundraising committee to help us with some small change very quickly so that we can begin to tie down all our various vendors, but we're good. I just want to make a comment about the post that I made with respect to the post from the City Lawyer magazine. Like I said in that post, post. There's no problem whatsoever with the issues that were raised in that post. The subcommittee will be meeting very soon with the team experience, the people that put experience together, just to see what we can learn from them. We will communicate that to the larger committee, but we will put everything that we hear into effect. We're quite confident. We have 2 members of the Lawyers with Disability community in the Technical and Logistics Subcommittee. We'll also be paying a visit to the venue to assess the accessibility parameters and put in place the things we need to ensure that not only lawyers living with disability, but elderly delegates can move from one place to the other seamlessly. We are trying very hard to cover all ground. We have our notes from last year. We also accept and willingly welcome any comments, any observations that anybody has that will help us do our job easier. As a matter of fact, this was how we started our first meeting. After our introductions, we asked people those who attended the conference last year, to share their views on what the conference experience was for them and what things that they think we could have done better. Taking all those down as well, we will encourage you to do the same. Can put them on the group, can direct message me or any one of the committee. Take all these, because we can't think of it all. We want to try as much as possible to cover all the bases and ensure that we give effect to our conference like no other. So that's that. I'll just go forward to say the Technical and Logistics Subcommittee will be working closely with not only the LOC, but with the Entertainment and Events Subcommittee. They only got their terms of reference yesterday because the chairman was otherwise engaged, and unfortunately she was otherwise engaged this afternoon. But we have some old hands in there as well, and I will give the floor to Johnson Amechi just to say a few things about their terms of reference and what they plan to do. But those 2 committees will pretty much function as extensions of each other because our tasks are very much intertwined. We'll also be working closely with finance and fundraising. So for example, we are in a position to identify all the branding possibilities at the venue. So we pass those on to the finance and fundraising so that they can identify people who can sponsor those things directly, which is a sponsorship model that we tried last year and it worked. So we want to extend it. So we have a kind of synergy. The alternate chair of the Technical and Logistics Planning Committee is in the Finance and Fundraising Committee in the person of Barbara Mosu. And Barbara has proven very valuable in identifying companies that can sponsor specific things. So already she's talking with the Nigerian breweries for sponsorship of Umbad. Last year we had the Cubana Group sponsor the Friendship Center. So we're hoping to extend those kinds of partnerships from people who have seen that the annual general conference of the NBA is a conference or an event that results in a symbiotic relationship. It's not just about us going cap in hand begging things where there are gains to be made. And we intend to push those gains forward. So that's it from our committee. And before I ask Johnson to speak, I can see that learned senior advocate, Mr. Olawale Fakunda, has his hand up. So let me yield the floor to you, sir. Mr. Fakunda.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. When some of my members are doing a looter here, they think that you are forgetting their own committee.
Well, I didn't, sir. Okay, I'm going to give you the floor just after I give to the Johnson. I thought that because
they are
your
wondering why
first
they should
meeting.
come last.
I beg your
Doing a
pardon?
very important one. They are
But yes,
wondering,
we are saving the
one
best for the
particular one is
last.
wondering why they should come last, given the
No,
very
not necessarily
important work
because we
they
are
have been
saving
doing.
because we are saving the best for the last. We are saving the best for the last. I'll just let Johnson quickly talk because whatever he'll say is so closely tied to what we are doing, and we'll save the most important. The only reason why we're all gathering.
Yes, my brother from one of the branches will hear you say that because he's about to reach out to me through the phone.
No, sir. The only reason why we're all gathered is we're going to hear that last so that it remains fresh in our memories as we depart from this meeting. Johnson, please make it quick. Over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, everyone, Leonard Silks, Leonard seniors and colleagues. I speak on behalf of the Entertainment and Event Subcommittee. I speak also on behalf of my chair. Okay, so for us, even though before we got the terms of reference yesterday, early this morning, we had already started work because a good number of us have done similar tasks several times at various occasions for the MBA and other branch and the section level. What we are looking at is general events. So we have our major focus is first the Friendship Center on BAD. We have the sports, the health walk, and the president's dinner. So these are the major areas we are looking at. And so what we are looking at is for the Friendship Center, of course, which is one place that will be open first. We will run till late, early morning. So Madam Chair has already had said, the Friendship Center will be closing at 3 a.m. practically every day of the conference. So what we intend doing, just like what we did last year in Abuja, is to have maybe a DJ that will be there for music purposes or a live band. But we are trying to, because of the cost and what we've gotten so far as regards market cost for these things, our best bet is actually a DJ right now because of the cost of live bands, especially in the city of Lagos. So what we tend doing, so whatever I'm saying on behalf of the subcommittee is still proposals. We are yet to flesh it up, and as time goes by, we'll do that. So for the Friendship Center, we're looking at having a DJ that will be currently stationed there throughout the entire period of the conference. Maybe at least a DJ for now. Then for the opening ceremony, we are looking at having for entertainment purposes, a spoken word and the cultural dance situation going on at the same time for the opening ceremony. Just a light entertainment, really, because of the fact that it's not going to be a lengthy event. So that's what we are looking at doing for now. Then for BAD, we are looking at having a 3 DJ set. So in the event, because right now the cost of artists is quite like this morning I was talking to about 4 different A-list artists, and the prices that they were giving me are not here. So it's still but right now, what we are looking at is in case, in the event that we're not able to get an artist to perform, we'll just do a 3-set DJ with a prominent DJ as the headline DJ, while we have other 2 DJs for the on-bad. Because the on-bad is all just, we are not having any sections, it's just to have music and entertainment all through. For now, that's what we have. So we are likely going to pull the DJ we have at the Friendship Center to come on board
Johnson,
for
let
the
me interrupt.
on-bad.
Johnson, let me interrupt you. I don't like how you are downing this on battle. That's not the idea behind. We're not just pulling any DJ from anywhere. It's not a management situation. It's going to be just as exciting as having an artist. I think you should keep your gunpowder dry until Ian has had a chance to discuss and those issues. The outline of what you said is fine. The specifics, you guys need to meet and then come up with them. Let me just add also that under the terms of reference of the E&E committee is all events. all social events, so including the Friday Jumat service, the Thanksgiving service, the health walk in conjunction with LOC, the opening ceremony, President's dinner on board, even the arrangements in connection with the in conjunction with the TNL subcommittee for the AGM and the handover. So E&E committee, like their name suggests, is in charge of all social events that are not the technical events that the CSC committee is involved in. And we as T&L subcommittee just help with the logistics behind all of that. I see that Chika has joined us. I don't know whether you want to say anything very quickly before I hand the floor over to Mr. Olawale Fakunda. Chika, do you want to say anything? Or has Johnson said it all for you? Okay, I guess not. So thank you very much, E&E subcommittee. Mr. Olawale Fakunda, sir, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. Just quickly, first I want to thank members of the content committee for constantly putting me on my toes. Yes, I started getting calls from 4 a.m. this morning. Not sure whether that member is part of this. I'm sure it's already online. You should please stop calling me at 4 a.m. Let us sleep. We'll get there. Having said so, we have set up a WhatsApp platform for our members, and we have now a functional secretariat. Over the past couple of days, we have received 112. I just received 5 more now, so that will make 117 proposals for 62 sessions, 2 plenaries, and 30 working sessions. What we have done, what I've advised the Secretariat to do, is to put these sessions in the format of the AGC program. So as you have earlier explained, Madam Chair, that is, well, on Sunday night is the keynote. On Monday, we have a plenary, and then there are 10 working sessions, plenary 9:30 to 12. The working sessions 2 to 4 or 2 to 4:30, depends on how we eventually decide. That is for Monday. On Tuesday, we have 10 working sessions AM and 10 working sessions PM. So that makes in total about 32 sessions in all. So the Secretariat has, this week, they put all the proposals that we received in working sessions mode in a very draft form. What we try to do, no suggestion is not acceptable. We just put everything together. Where we have tried to edit, where you have an overlap. For example, there's so much interest in pro bono. There's lots of interest in arbitration. So we try to, as much as possible, so much interest in artificial intelligence. So we try to blend, to put together different proposals that have come into a single session. Now, I'm not able to share that because tomorrow is our first formal meeting. As soon as we meet tomorrow and we approve or decide what we want to do with the proposals that we have received so far, then we'll be able to share it with the broader committee. Our timeline is the 15th of June. I'm hoping that as soon as we are able to approve the working sessions tomorrow, we'll begin the task of assembling speakers. Again, we have started receiving recommendations as far as speakers are concerned. The Secretariat informs me that by this afternoon, we have gotten like 15 speakers. Of course, these are without prejudice to members of the committee that may want to express interest in any specific session. So, but step by step, once we are able to get the approval of the committee tomorrow, with respect to the sessions, we'll then agree on a good date for us to approve the speakers. But in all, we hope that either by 15th of June or much earlier, we'll be able to come up with an agenda. Again, that also depends on our ability to quickly reach out and get the confirmation of our international speakers. We have a number that have expressed interest from the US, the Solicitor General of South Africa. We are looking to invite him, and a couple of others. So as soon as we're able to put this together, we'll be ready. I'm hoping that definitely by the 15th of June or earlier, we'll be ready. Only to advise that if members have interest, as soon as I'm hoping that with the meeting after 3 p.m. tomorrow, certainly by close of work tomorrow, we should know where we are with the broader agenda. We'll paste it. And that as soon as if members have interest in any specific session or areas that they wish to either be resource persons, they were able to indicate. Because actually, I think there is a lot of resource within the technical planning committee, and if not within, in addition rather to their suggestions about who they think are able to be speakers in the sessions. So timeline, tomorrow we have our first Zoom meeting to consider the proposals that we have received. By the end of tomorrow, the Secretariat to publish with the wider TCP committee. Immediately, for the next 7 days, we are going to work on assembling speakers. Hopefully, by the first week of June, we should be able to have at least, that will be constant work in progress, an idea of who the speakers are, and hopefully by the 15th of January, we'll be able to finalize the program, at least what we have, because we realize that it's important now, given the fact that the website is up and running. The conference website is up and running. It's important that members know the quality of resource persons that we are putting forward. So, members of the TCB can expect a draft program latest by tomorrow. I thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I have 2 hands up, so I will start with Mr. Shola Dusmo. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and thank you very much, Leonard Silk, for that presentation. So I just wanted to mention to Leonard Silk that thank you. We would be working very closely with your committee, especially hearing what proposals you have in place. This is because, as you will be aware, as part of the packages we're putting out to our prospective sponsors, especially our strategic sponsors, some of the packages we're offering them is an opportunity to either take part in showcase sessions, some breakout sessions, an opportunity to be speakers, as well as probably moderate some of these sessions. So whilst you're going on with your plan, we probably will be suggesting that you leave, we can't give you numbers yet, but probably leave some slots available for our prospective sponsors. I think this is very usual, but I just wanted to point it out as well, that it will be very important. And then obviously, by the time we have finalized these packages, of course, we'll be able to give you a more precise number of what we expect to get from this prospective sponsor. So whilst you're working assiduously with all the prospective speakers, and you've also asked our members to make nominations, please bear in mind, sir, that you would also be leaving slots available for our prospective sponsors. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dosunmu. Patience.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much, Leonard Simpson. My own is more of a question. We are a forum, the NBA Lawyers with Disabilities Forum, and the moratorium on some provisions of the Disability Act came to an end last year. We're hoping that we'll be given an opportunity to have our own presentation as well, have a session too during the conference. I don't know if that has been built into the content, the proposals for the by the content committee too.
So I can answer that for you. Two answers. One, the chair of the Lawyers with Disabilities Forum is a member of the Content and Speaker Engagement Subcommittee. So make sure that you speak with her. And then secondly, Leonard Silk just said, if anybody has any suggestions and so on, you should bring them. So they're open to whatever ideas you have. So please send them ASAP. The point is that they must be sent ASAP so that they can be considered when they're having their meeting tomorrow. Thank you.
They have already sent the member representing lawyers with disability have already sent in.
Okay, and her hand is up. Yes, and her hand is up, so I'll call her next after Chinyere Okocha. Chair Women's Forum, please.
Good evening, all. Thank you so much, Leonard Silk and Chair. My question is around the programs or the people who were asked to send in proposals. As chair of the Women's Forum, I wasn't asked to send in anything, and I'm wondering if there will be any panel, I guess, that where we will feature as an interest group, or indeed the other sections and fora, whether the chairmen and chairpersons have been asked to send in proposals, because as chair of Women's Forum, I didn't get any such request. That's my question. Thank you.
Okay.
We did not ask anybody to send in proposals. People on their own. As soon as the chairperson announced the formation of the word spread quickly. As soon as Madam Chairperson announced the formation of the respective committees, I think various people, branch chairs, different interests started reaching out to the secretariat. But as has been said, it's not closed. For me, I was actually very excited about that because it saved us the stress, if you like, of sitting down to think through those sessions. So, people just on their own sent us different sessions. I was also very impressed with the quality of sessions that have been proposed. So it's not late. I believe several of the women's groups sent in different proposals. But as I said, when we consider everything tomorrow, when we present it to the TCCP, we can look at it. If you have any that you want to send to us, you can send to us before our meeting at 3 o'clock tomorrow. We'll consider it. Our doors are certainly not shut. All ideas, as far as we are concerned, are good ideas. So you send it to us, we'll look at it, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you very much. Dr. Bello. Dr. Latifat Bello. Okay. I think she's not. Okay. In the absence of any other comments, you've heard it all. If it's about whether Adetola, is your hand still up? Okay. In the absence of any other comments, you've heard it. The chair of that
Sorry, Chairman, I'll put my hand down. I think some of the concerns I have are better discussed at the committee meeting. So I'll
okay. That's
air
fine.
my concerns at the committee meeting.
That's fine. Thank you very much. So the chair did say the doors are still open, and luckily you've saved them all a lot of work. If people who have ideas can send them in, so please keep them coming. We have gone over our time today, but all for a good cause. It was important that we set these set our parameters and understand the work that we need to do. So thanks to everybody, one, for taking the rules so seriously and making sure that we stick to keep ourselves on our toes by having those meetings in between each meeting. And we will definitely see the results of our intense activity. So if there is any other business, in the absence of which, may I ask somebody to call for the adjournment, to move a motion, calling for the adjournment of this meeting until next week, Wednesday.
Madam Chair, my name is Johnson Amici. I don't move.
Okay, and Oye had her hand up, so I'm going to have Oye second. I imagine, Oye, that it was for that purpose, or was it to make a comment?
Yes.
It was for that
no,
purpose.
it was for that purpose. Yes, it
okay,
was for that
purpose. Thank you very much. So, Oye supports the motion for the adjournment, and I would like to say to everyone, thank you so much. Just one housekeeping rule, please. I'd like to say, please, if you need to leave the meeting before the end, please kindly put something in the message box to say that you have to leave, so that we treat the rest of the meeting with the respect it deserves. And also, if you will not be able to attend the meeting, please send in your apologies so that it shows in the minutes of the meeting that you sent in your apologies ahead. Compliance, administration, and secretariat, I will send you the list of persons who messaged me to say that you will not be able to attend. You sent in their apologies. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a good evening. See you next Wednesday by God's grace. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Bye-bye. Thank you very
Bye,
much.
Madam Chair, and
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Bye-bye.
Katsiri, bye-bye.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Take care, Nkiruka. Mr.
Thank you,
Lemon.
Ebayo, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much.
Well done, ma'am.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much, Ma.
Bye.
We
Thank you
enjoyed
very
the
much,
narrative.
Ngozi. Thank you.
Ebayo, Madam Chair, thank you.
Joy, have a good evening. Take care.
Bye, Madam Chair.
Bye-bye. Take care. Take care. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Thank you very much.
What today has started cannot, but we have to streamline it. We can have an chief register. If you are starting within this is not pay 10,000. You say I will pay 5,000 naira. You say okay, take 9,000. It's unlawful. So we have to streamline that.
Haji Kazim.
Alhaji Kazim, what are you trying to press there?
Haji Kazim, what are you pressing on?
What are you pressing? What are you What are you pressing? Grace, please don't go. Sarah, please don't go. Where is
Okay,
Kemi
ma'am.
Beatrice? Kemi Beatrice, and Salamatu. Please, yeah, Salamatu, please don't go. Grace, Salamatu, Kemi Beatrice, Sarah. Where is Ayodeji?
Erelu, permission to drop off.
You can drop off. You are not part of us again. You are not in the MBA secretariat. So you are not part of us again. You can drop off.
But I'm sure alternate chair will give you the report of our visit to the National Assembly yesterday. I'm sure she had.
I can see you are feeling very pleased with yourself. I beg, Joe.
Erelu, don't worry. You will see the millions.
I shouldn't worry. I shouldn't worry. I'm worried.
The number was, I will call you after my meeting, Erelu.
Okay, that's fine. Should I call you?
I'll call you as soon as I'm still in National Assembly. I'll call you.
Okay, all right. And so let's talk after. Thank you.
Can you hear me, ma?
Sidi, Salamatu,
Yes,
is that you? Yes, I can hear you. And I just want to, I just want to talk to you and Grace. And where is Kemi? Grace, where is your besto now?
She was here. She's online.
Oh, so can she hear me? Is she with you?
No, she's not with me. I'm in my office.
Okay, let me tell you what I'll do. Let me do a WhatsApp call. I'll just do a WhatsApp call. I'll do a group call with all of us secretariat staff so that we don't keep our secrets. Okay. Let me sign off now. I'm going to call you guys in a few minutes. Right away.
Okay.
Thank you.